Welcome into another summer edition of Tech Talks presented by EGP Document Solutions. And we are pleased to be joined today by the new pitching coach for Georgia Tech baseball. He is Matt Taylor. Matt, welcome to Tech. Welcome to Tech Talks. How are you?
I'm doing well. Still trying to catch my breath with everything that's gone on in the last 10 days or so. But, man, I'm fired up and I'm excited to be here and get this thing rolling.
Well, let's begin with this. You come to us from the Atlanta Braves, where you had served as the assistant pitching coordinator. That's a title that will turn a lot of heads among Tech fans. Explain to everybody what that job entailed.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I started about this time last year with them after I finished up the season at Georgia State. A lot of what the job entails, there's anywhere from 150 to 200 people on a daily basis that we kind of have to organize. So that's everything from AAA all the way down to the lowest level of the minor leagues of the Dominican Academy. So a lot of it was traveling around to the minor league affiliates, checking in with the pitchers, obviously, at each affiliate, the coaching staff, the trainers, the medical, everything. So it was a lot, and it was a lot of travel, but I definitely learned a lot, and it's obviously an incredible organization to get to work for.
And prior to that, of course, you spent 3 seasons just across town at Georgia State as the Panthers pitching coordinator, which means you had some encounters, I'm sure, with Danny Hall's Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Do you recall what those matchups were like for you as a pitching coach facing a perennially potent offense like the Yellow Jackets?
Absolutely. And I know we always had really good games with them. I think one of the biggest things for us is obviously, coming in, anytime you're going to play Georgia Tech, anytime that you're going to go up against Coach Hall, Coach Ramsey, they're going to have one of the top offenses in the country. And I think it was always one of those, we always played on a Tuesday. So it was always one of those, you finish, your Sunday series, your weekend series up on a Sunday, and you're like, oh boy, we got Georgia Tech, whether it's here or whether it was at Panthersville. And immediately it seems like you got to spend a good 2 days trying to figure out how you're going to navigate that. Parada, Simpson, and all the top of the lineup. There were some sleepless nights in there, but I know we clipped him once. I guess we clipped him twice, both times here. So it was it's always a good series. And like I said, I've known Coach Hall for, probably 15 years, dating back to my time at Columbus High School when, I was recruited here at Georgia Tech and ultimately, chose the University of Alabama. But it's one of those programs where, they're going to always put up runs offensively and have a really good ball club.
How would you describe a Coach Taylor pitcher? What are some of the tangibles and maybe intangibles that you look for to mold and develop a pitcher into an effective one?
I think the ultimate thing is they're going to be competitive. And, I'm going to set a standard. There's going to be a standard from the get-go, and we're not going to waver from that standard. You'll hear me use the words a lot, attack. I think as you kind of look across, and especially what's going on in Omaha today, the 2 teams in college baseball over the last couple seasons that have been, in my opinion, the best pitching staffs in college baseball have been Wake Forest and Tennessee. And one of the things that they do exceptionally well is they attack the strike zone and they generate swings. And that's going to be kind of the verbiage that you hear me continuously use is we're going to attack, we're going to be aggressive, we're going to go after guys.
You've been on the job for a little less than 2 weeks, and there's really no time in any calendar in any sport where when you take a new position as a coach, where you can just kind of ease into it. You're in about as much of a whirlwind time of the year for any coach, let alone a new one. So kind of describe, Coach, what these last couple of weeks have been like for you at Georgia Tech.
Well, I can tell you this, it's been a lot of phone calls. It's been a lot of text messages. Obviously with the transfer portal in today's game, it's an important part of the year for that. But also on the baseball side of it and high school baseball with travel ball, this is the busiest time of the year for that as well. So, you're talking about you're recruiting, obviously 2024 is in high school. You're recruiting the transfer portal really hard. And then also, me coming into this position, I'm trying to get to know my own guys and our own commitments and our own, incoming freshmen. So, yeah, man, it's been a lot of phone calls. It's been several 16, 18-hour days where, fueled by caffeine and you just keep going. But, I think I'm starting to get to a pretty good spot, especially with our own pitching staff. You're going to get somebody that's going to be really aggressive recruiting, and we're going to get after it. Obviously, me and Ramsey have a really good relationship. We've known each other for a while, and I think, both of us are really passionate about developing the student athletes. We're passionate about building relationships with these guys, and I think that you're going to continue to see a side of the ball that's going to be ultra competitive. They're going to get after it day in and day out. And ultimately, our goal is to continue to move this thing forward. And Coach Hall, like I said, when I took this job, he's one of the best coaches in college baseball. And the opportunity to work for somebody like him, the opportunity to learn under somebody like him, and also being a Atlanta native, a Georgia native, and understanding the significance with all that. This is an unreal opportunity for me. And so I grew up in Atlanta, grew up in Ackworth, Kennesaw, Marietta area for a while. And then right before we started high school, my dad got a new job and we moved down to Columbus, Georgia, where I played for undoubtedly the best high school baseball coach in the country, Bobby Howard, Hall of Famer. And so it's been cool. It's been cool to kind of see this whole process throughout the state of Georgia. You know, obviously I scouted in Georgia. You know, I played amateur baseball in Georgia, and then now getting to kind of circle back with Georgia State and Georgia Tech. It's been something that you really can't even dream of, and it's kind of amazing how it just keeps happening. It's awesome.
Well, Matt, Danny Hall could not land you as a player, but he finally was able to land you not as a recruit, but as a coach, and we're thrilled to have you here on the Flats. Matt Taylor, new pitching coach for Georgia Tech baseball. Thanks so much for joining us here on Tech Talks, presented by EGP Document Solutions.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.